What's going on? My name is Chris Randall. Welcome to the Mental Space. On the Mental Space, we talk about all things related to your mindset and your mentality. All right, so let's go. Have you ever seen this podcast?
It's extra moisture.
This has been the first episode of My Cup is Full.
This is My Cup is Full. And if you haven't seen it, it's starring Sydney Castillo. If you've watched the podcast, you've heard him say, my best friend, Chris.
Say, hey, Chris, right? That's my best friend. That's my therapist.
Well, guess what? I'm my best friend, Chris. Sydney and I have been friends for 20 plus years, and most of the things that he talks about on his podcast, I already know about. All right, so I wanted to go through some of these stories, go through some of these episodes, and talk and give extra information or information from my perspective and my point of view. Him and I have talked the entire time, the entire 20 plus years. I am a certified life coach and I have been for about a decade. So we get into a lot of things related to mindset and mentality. So let's go, let's get into it.
Listen, so dating this young lady, right?
So boom, Sydney in this episode talks about a relationship that he had and it went sour, it went south, and he's just kind of giving you the play-by-play. Don't get it twisted. The Mental Space is not a place where we bash anybody, but it is to give context as to what was going on as far as either his perspective or what him and I were discussing and talking about during the course of these events.
Listen,
right? So boom, he is dating this young lady.
Right now, she and listen, I'll be honest. In the beginning, all right, cool, fun, like having a good time.
In the beginning, cool, fun.
Now, there's certain things I notice about like her personality that I'm like, okay, cool, maybe this ain't the best fit. Like, you know what I mean? Boundaries is big for me.
If you haven't heard it this way, I'll explain it a little bit like this. Boundaries are for you, rules are for other people. Now, rules, not like you're not trying to boss anybody around, but you have boundaries to say, I'm going to engage with you in these parameters. You're giving yourself parameters. I'm not going to do this. When people say things like, I'm not going to argue, you know, I'm not going to yell and all these kind of things, they're saying what they are not going to do, the parameters they're going to keep, you know, for themselves. And then they say, in order for this to continue, whether it's because of, you know, my past, whether it's because of other relationships I've been in, other situations I've been in, I really can't function in a healthy way if this goes on. You know, when you raise your voice, it makes me think about this and then yada, yada, yada. I've been married for 16 years. My wife does not really, she doesn't like yelling. She doesn't want to get into a yelling match when we're having a conversation. So she's like, I kind of check out. Like, it's hard for me to listen to you when you yell. So boundaries for yourself, rules are for other people. You may hear it described a different way. That's fine. That is how I process it and how I think about it in terms when I talk to people about relationships. Boundaries, rules, you get it.
The car, you know how I get down.
I like how you starting off telling me this is your fault, but go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things in this relationship, when I was talking to Sid, was you got to make sure you're communicative, bro. You got to make sure you're saying the things that are affecting you. You got to make sure you are voicing how it is that you feel to give her the opportunity to make the adjustments that she needs to make. When people are in relationships, you can't just assume that the person is going to do what they need to do or do something the way that you would like it. You got to talk. And a lot of times people, they let things kind of happen or they let things go on longer than they should without bringing it up because they don't want to seem like the person that is always worrying, or they don't want to seem like the person that's always complaining, or they don't want to. You need to talk. I tell people a lot, get to the no as fast as you can. Because if you get to the no as fast as you can, if something is not going to work out, you don't have to spend 10, 11, 12 months dealing with something or engaging with a person in an unhealthy way. Get it out the way. There were times when we had conversations where I was like, see it, you got to say it. We just had the conversation this time where sure, you did. Say it again. Say it as many times as you need to, okay, until you're like, okay, I've said this as many times as I think I should, and now we have to do something else. That's okay if you make that determination. If you got the patience to say it again, and then say it again, and say it again, and now you're on your sixth time, okay, that's how much patience you have, and that's cool. You may have the patience for 8 times, for 10 times, I don't know. People are different. Sometimes people have the patience for 7 and they can't go past 7. Other people have the patience for 15. That doesn't matter how many times. Have the patience and say what you need to say so you can make the decision that you need to make.
Listening to you. I'm gonna let you finish though.
You know, it's like I like boundaries. I like to set it up. You know what I mean? Like to establish rules and things like that. Now the young lady sometimes is very too open about like sexual stuff around me. I would have to tell, hey man, I'm not your gay best friend. Like maybe you need a homegirl tell stuff like I'm your dude. I don't want to hear all that. You know what I mean? If I'm calling your family, I'm calling your brother like, hey bro, like she's saying like she wants to hurt herself. And when he was like, that, it was like, oh yeah, when she gets like that. I said, what do you mean she get like that? He was like, yeah, only she can calm herself down. He said, but thanks for calling me. I'm glad she got you there with you. I'm glad you there with her.
Okay, so wait. So what? I got a question. What in that moment made you continue to proceed?
Now, good question. I would say in the thick of the relationship, I'm like, here's my fault and accountability. Sometimes you gotta. It's not my job. Sometimes my definition of leadership is to see something like that and be like, okay, I can get you out of that through showing you prayer and like faith. And I think that's my place as if you were my wife. And I think I have to learn that that's not my place with everybody.
But question.
Okay, so a couple of things here. This is true in terms of us, Sid and I having this conversation. Like, how long are you going to continue to, work with this and work, through this and do, all of these, things? Everybody is not going to handle your whatever, your trauma, the things that you come with in terms of your past experience in life, your past relationships, all of that. And the expectation that somebody is just going to walk through that with you because they care about you is like, y'all got to have conversations about that. You got to communicate about, these are the things that I've been through, and this is a part of my past, and yada, yada, yada. It's great if somebody does, if somebody has the patience and they can handle that, because that's the key part. Can they handle it? Are they equipped enough to walk through this with you? That's the other thing. You want somebody who's equipped. You don't just want somebody who's going to say, yeah, I'll walk down this road with you. Do they have the tools to walk down the road with you? If they don't have the tools, you don't want them there. Not in a negative way. We're like, get out of here. But it's like, oh, I'm not equipped. You got to know if you're equipped. And then you have to give the person the opportunity to decide if they want to walk down with you. And again, the best time to do that is in the beginning. Because after feelings get involved, you're going to do a whole lot of mental thinking like, should I do this? I've already been here this long and I can't leave them stuck out, and I can't. That's a part of the situation. When Sid is talking about, that's what I think I should be doing as the man in your life, as a person who is offering leadership to you. I need to be doing that. Yeah. But the other thing is, like I said before, give him the opportunity to decide if he wants to do that in your life. So talk to people early about whatever the thing is. My dad left at this age and this is what it did. Or my mom used to do this. Or I had this experience when I went to college. Or this is the thing that used to happen to me when I was in high school. Or whatever the case. I got ADHD. Whatever the thing is, give somebody the opportunity to do that before you decide for them that they're going to be the person to walk through this with you. All right.
I called my boy and said, hey, Chris, right? That's my best friend. He's my therapist. You know what I mean? Too. I was like, I tell him, I said, so I'm going to work on faith with her. Right? He said, Sid, I think that I don't want you to go down the same road you went when you got married. maybe this.
Boom. Okay, so I don't want to say this. Okay, he's gonna talk about his marriage in another episode, so I'll get to that then. But this conversation happened. I don't want you to repeat. Here's the thing: if you don't learn new habits, if you don't learn new skills, then you're just going to do what you. This is in my tool belt. This is in my toolbox. And this is the tool that I use every time there's a problem. If you don't buy no more, no new tools, if you don't go and acquire any more tools, those are the ones you're gonna go back to all the time. One is not gonna magically appear. You're gonna keep going back to the same tool. So in this situation, when I'm like, yo, I don't want you to repeat, I don't want you to do the same thing again, because things become patterns.
And I was like, nah, man. So that was my fault. So then boom, that's the first thing.
It's not your job.
Nah, man. We're gonna have to see it. We're gonna have to talk about why the nah, man. Boom. Okay, I'll give you a little. I'll talk about why I think it's a nah, man. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. There's a phenomenon in psychology called the sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy is when you've invested into something for a long period of time and there's a huge investment and you notice that you're not getting the results that you want. You have a decision to make. I can either abandon this thing that I've been investing in, or I can double down and invest in it more. Why? Because I've already done it this far. I've already invested so much money. I've already invested so much time. I've already invested so many resources up until now. If I abandon it, all of that investment was for nothing. I wasted my time. And I don't want to feel like I wasted my time. So I'm just going to invest more and work harder so this can happen. So I won't feel like all of that investment is wasted. I can salvage this and it can be successful if I just invest more. The sunk cost fallacy says that it's probably, if it's not working and you haven't figured out why it's not working, pull the plug. At least that's what a lot of the ideology is behind it. If you pull the plug, you can probably salvage that other time that you didn't put in it into doing something else and get some results. But if you put more investment, more resources, you're probably going to lose it. But we don't want to do that because we've already invested so much. So that's the feeling and the ideology behind it. Let's just invest more instead of pulling out. Sunk cost fallacy. So I think that's a little bit of what's happening in this situation. We already here. We so many, a certain amount of months in, and I've already did that. If I salvage it, it's great, and we can move past it. But I don't want to give up because I've already put so much, into it up until this point. So yeah,
right.
That's why I be chilling and I'm single, because a lot of times we find ourselves in relationships. People think it's just women, but if you're a good man and you're a protecting man and you know your role in a relationship, you're going to want to fix things. That's your job, is to fix things. Doesn't matter what's broken in your head. I'm going to fix this, because if I can't fix it, then it's a play on your manhood. And ain't nobody finna play with my motherfucking manhood, bitch. I can fix your.
Okay, so you've heard Sid talk about, if you've heard the podcast long enough, and if you haven't, go check it out. My Cup is Full. It's on YouTube. We are men of faith, right? We're Christians. Whether it's him, whether it's anybody else, in all of your desire to fix and all of your desire to make things go well, if God ain't telling you to proceed, then you're just hoping that it'll do well. If God is telling you to proceed, then there's some good that's going to come out of it, because he's telling you to proceed, which means he is saying you're going to get, some benefit from this. But if he hasn't, now it's just a Hail Mary. You're just like, I hope that because you're going off your own thought. I think if I put more, then I'll get more. I think so. Don't go off what you think. What is he telling you? Boom. I'll get off there.
This is my next point. She was in a financial like situation, right? And I was like, I'll help you out. Come stay with me.
Help me.
Come stay with me.
Help me. I have no money.
But listen, okay, it's like that is real. Like okay, so cool. I'm not even like flexing. Mm-hmm. Come here, get your paper up. Not like we're in a position to proceed to get married. It's like you're about to lose this place. Just get on your feet.
No money. You don't ask them for no money. No. Just come stay here. I'm gonna take care of things. Yeah. Whatever money you get, stack it.
Boom. You're waiting on a big check, says stack that. You'll get that, make it 10 grand, and just stack your money.
So when you told her that she could stay with you, did you guys actually sit down and discuss? Because sometimes
because we had this conversation as well, and I said, bro, I don't think this is a good idea. This is not a good. Not I don't think this is not a good idea. You shouldn't do this. Why did I tell him that? I told him that because I said, this is your place. The relationship is already rocky. This would be slightly different if the relationship was going fine. If it was going great, this would be different. The relationship is rocky. You're having second thoughts. You're thinking whatever. You're trying to make things work. You're trying to muster up all of this patience and all of these things. It's not going well now. Now she's going to move in. Now you're in close quarters. There's no breaks. In terms of, we take a couple hours or a day or two where we not talking on the phone, then we call each other. Now you're together all the time now. The likelihood of things going worse is high. And if things get worse and y'all break up, it's your place. She gonna move out, which means she could be stuck. And if she's stuck, you're going to look like the bad guy. So just let her keep her place and work on what she's got to work on, and you work on what you need to work on. If the relationship gets better, great, it gets better. But it can get better separately, and y'all ain't got to, those were the words. Like, wait, like, don't do this, because it's going to look bad. She going to be stuck out, and then she's going to respond like she's stuck out. And you don't want that. So don't do that.
We'll have serious conversations in the middle of sex or right after sex. And then you're going to do whatever they ask you to do because the vagina was phenomenal. But did you sit down and have a conversation and say, hey, you can stay with me, stack your money, and this is how long you can stay here?
Yes. We had that conversation. It was it was going to be like a few months.
Okay.
So that happened. So then, boom, she's like, got her stuff in there. Cool. That process is a little difficult because for me, she complained a lot. I'm like, damn, like, it's a little dirty over here. And I'm like, that's crazy. If you could just help me out, like, just.
Wait, she complained that your house was messy.
Yeah.
But she lived there.
Yeah, and it was like
I'm not. This is the thing. Where's my Sydney? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I clean, I cook, I own my.
What I think happened is they talked about time frame, but again, they did not talk about expectations when it comes to, and again, Sid, he's going to clarify if I'm wrong, and I'm going to have to come back and be like, okay, this, whatever. But I don't remember, I think it was a situation where we talked about time frame. You'll be here for this long, but what you're going to do when you're here is I don't know if that was a conversation where they talked about, these are my expectations when it comes to the place. You're here and you're here to do what? Because come on, like don't just assume that people are going to think like you think. I think you're going to do this, or I think because you're staying here, then that's financially that's taken off your plate. So you're going to obviously pick up this other part because the finances is off your plate. So put now this on your plate. That's the next. If you don't talk about it, then it's an expectation that's only in your head. It's like it's a wish. I hope that happens. And a lot of times in relationships, people are hoping. You're hoping that this thing is going to go well. You're hoping that this person is going to wake up randomly and suck your dick, or you're hoping that somebody is going to pick this up because hope don't. It's not. We don't want to hope. We've talked. We've discussed. You can make decisions off of what was discussed. You can have conversations about what was discussed. This is what we said was going to happen, and this isn't happening. So let's talk about why. And it's not even a conversation like you said you was going. Now you. Let's talk about it. This is a healthy, mature situation. This is what we decided, and this has not happened. XYZ hasn't happened. What has changed? You both can talk about that. And then again, you decide, and this is not just with moving in, this is just in general. We getting to know each other. This is what we are expecting. Are you cool with that expectation? Are you cool with that thing? Okay, cool. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, this is not happening. Let's talk about what changed. That's just a conversation. But when you just expecting, like it's just a bunch of hopeful niggas running around here and together. We hopeful. Whew.
Here we go. You ready? We are at the house, right? Netflix is a joke. Festival is a thing, right? And during that festival, we were at like a event, right? Come home from the event, a little tipsy. Now, I've already known her to like speak sexually, like out loud about stuff that I normally don't deal with, like somebody would say, right? So I'm playing the game. Like she said some shit. She goes, no, I'm gonna play the game. It's like maybe we got home, so it's like 2:30 in the morning. I'm actually taking a dump, right? Relationship shit, right?
That's okay.
And she goes, I met one of the cast members from Love Is Blind, one of the white dudes.
Okay.
I said, okay. She's like, I asked him,
okay,
when y'all was on the show, did y'all know the activities y'all was gonna do and where y'all was gonna go, the itinerary before y'all picked the people? He said, yeah. She said, if I was on that show, I'd have been fucking everybody.
Oh, wow, at 43.
And I said,
hold on, let me take my shoes off. I'm gonna get comfortable.
Yeah, get comfortable, dog.
This is good. Okay, go ahead.
Listen, I'm literally on the toilet, and before I said, now listen, you ever hear something, you like, now look.
You wildin'.
You wildin'.
I don't think I can deal with a man telling me, I met this Love Is Blind cast member, and he gonna come to me and say, shit, if I was on that show, I'd be fucking everybody on this show. You can fuck him tonight. You have a good time.
Listen.
I'm out. I can't.
So then I attribute, I'm like, all right, cool. Because one thing about, like, I'm always weird of, like, I know about my size. I'm not saying I'm huge, but, like, I'm not gonna argue. It's 2:30 in the morning, liquor involved. We go to bed, right? So like maybe a couple days later, I'm playing a game, right? She cooking, right? I said, hey mama. I said the other day we was kind of tipsy. I said, I want to talk about something. She said, what you want to talk about? I said, hey, listen, hand to God. I said, hey, the other day you said that if you was on the show Love Is Blind, that you told Buddy you would fuck everybody. I said, I don't really think that's appropriate.
She told him that?
Yeah.
Oh no.
And she goes,
I thought she told you that.
She told him that. And then
she told him if I was on this show, I would have fucked all of y'all.
Yes, and I said, you told that nigga that? And she said, she goes, I'm telling you that. I said, I ain't gonna say that now. I said, okay, cool. So that night, playing the game, boom, boom. I told her that. She goes, you heard wrong. I said, I heard wrong. Right? I said, okay, I hear wrong. And she was like, even if I did say it, it don't matter. You always trying to start something. I said, listen. She goes, you always trying to bring up my past. I said, sweetheart, I know too much about your past because you voluntarily tell information.
Yeah.
I said, my past don't. You was the dude married for 20 minutes. That's what she said. I said, that has nothing to do with saying you would fuck everybody on the show.
She taking shots.
Boom, boom. But still remaining calm, right? Then I said, I think you understand what I'm saying. I feel like you're trying to play me. She goes, people get played every day, don't know they're getting played.
Get out, bitch. Just take this dry ass pork chop you made and get the fuck out my house.
I said, what'd you say? And I said, because you're going to regret it later because you just talking crazy right now.
Right.
She goes, I don't give a fuck. I said what I said. Niggas get played every day, don't know they're getting played. I said,
I want to hit? Okay, boom. So we talked about getting stuff out the way like early. The thing about conversations is there's a goal in the conversation. We're trying to clear something up. We want to get on the same page. I want to understand you, which should be like one of the first things that you're trying to do. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, understand what you're saying, da. Sometimes people just want to win. Conversations to them are like battles. We at war, we fighting, and I just want to win the fight. That's not a conversation. If somebody's trying to battle, what are we doing? If you are whatever, I don't know what people do nowadays. If you're talking, or if you're getting to know somebody, or if you're dating, whatever verbiage you use, if you notice somebody is just trying to win the battle, they're not really trying to understand. They're not really trying to hear what you're saying. They're not really trying to get on the same page. They got a scoreboard in their hand. One zip, 0, 4 0. That's they're not going to continue, or just one day. It's not a battle. No, you need to know that. You need to pay attention to that. This ain't about winning. We're not against each other. Why are you responding and acting like we're fighting and we're against each other? That's not what we're doing. If somebody trying to win the battle, like that's not a person that you want to, continue to engage with. Woo.
So I said, hey man, I'm done talking. We're gonna switch this arrangement up. I said, you were here so I can help you. I said, but since you're talking crazy, we can switch this arrangement up. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but I'm done talking about it. Start playing the game again, because I'm doing good on the game.
Yeah, we winning.
And she goes, you can't shut me the fuck up, nigga. Right?
She said nigga?
Yeah. So, I'm at the size of women, like they vein pop up when they cuss at me. So I get up and I go to the door, because that's where my freedom is. Right? Get
Sydney
to your freedom. Your ego will keep you in the room because your ego wants to win the argument. And that's the immature stance.
But what you got to do?
Get to your freedom.
Your freedom is at the door.
10 steps from my
That's boom. He said it. Your ego, we got to keep these egos down. Men and women. Like that's not what we're doing. We're not supposed to be winning. We on the same team. We on the same team. So once you figure out that somebody's not on your team, okay, you wasn't trying to be on the same team. There we go. Okay, then you just discontinue the relationship.
Freedom, my freedom at the door.
Yeah.
Right? I get up. She goes, oh, you leaving? Right?
Yeah.
I get my keys. I said, I'm finna go outside. Call her family again. Mm-hmm. Because now that I'm outside, I'm getting 30 calls, getting cussed out. Hey, yeah, you ain't shit. Shit like that, right? Hey, man.
From your house.
From inside my house. I'm outside.
And she's charging her phone your electricity.
So then I go to James' house and I call her. She's like,
yep.
Where you at? So I met James. You fucking her, huh? I said, James?
Yep.
James?
You're at some bitch house, weren't you? I said, hey, let me explain something to you. I said, where we're at right now, I don't need to be in the house with you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to my boy house. Okay. She goes, I can't do this. I said, I agree. And she says, say you want to break up over this. Oh, wow. And I'll fuck up your place.
So she told you
she told me that. And I said, and meanwhile, it's a bunch of voicemails that I haven't listened to.
Oh,
right?
Goodness.
And I said I wouldn't do that. She hangs up the phone. She calls me back like maybe 30 minutes later, and she's like, I've done something. I was like, what you do? Right? I've done something. My best friend from Texas calls me.
Yep.
He said, hey, bro, she just called me on Instagram.
Yep.
I need you to call her back right now and talk to her. I said, no, dog, she told me she did something to my place. Sydney, I think she's about to kill herself in your place. I deal with patience. He said, I deal with this shit. I'm telling you the way I just talked to her. All you got to do is listen. I call back against my hello.
Okay, so I told you, I've been a certified life coach for a decade. I've also worked in education for a decade, 5th grade all the way to 12th grade. Am also in school studying psychology and social work. So there's a lot of information that I have acquired to pay attention to language that suggests that somebody could hurt themselves or other people. She did call me, but just to clarify that and reiterate, yes, I called him. Sometimes people just need to be listened to. It doesn't mean you will necessarily stop things, but if you can, just by listening, then it's important to do that. And the things that I heard, that was all I can do was to say, hey, just listen. because maybe it could diffuse the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that the person was experiencing, to allow them to kind of calm down, to allow them to diffuse, to allow them to rethink what it is that they were thinking, to do. So that did happen, and that was the instruction, that I gave.
I just feel this whole shit. No worries, no worries, no worries. I'll come back tomorrow. I need to see my place, see the damage. My boy Dom is with me, who's here. That's Dom right there.
Hi, Dom.
Dom is there with me. We get there at 1:30.
You were there?
At 1:30, she is telling stuff like a manic episode. Dom can have witness to it. Was like, I need you to get out the place. Okay, I'll get out the place. Then call me back and say, fuck you, I'm not getting out the place. Fuck you, nigga. And hang up the phone.
Wow.
Then call me crying. I don't know where to go. Then call me, yeah, nigga, you got security, bring them.
That's a schizophrenic.
Her family calling me. That's not.
People, we don't know that. I think that the whatever the case is, there are things that are happening that is causing this person to experience really high highs and really low lows. Highs could be excitement. It could also mean like anger, but they're like really, really high, and then they're really, really, low. And then so it seems like their emotional state is a lot of different places, and it's switching, quickly. It's not a diagnosis. Those are just, things, maybe signs and symptoms that can kind of give you information as far as, a person is really having a difficult time processing and going through the situation, that they're going through.
I'm so jaded right now.
Bro.
I'm the definition of sitting down. Well, as people say, what you dating? Like, my hand.
Got this Vaseline. This is the best.
Listen, this has been the first episode of My Cup is Full, man. I appreciate my guest to Carl.
Where's the rest?
We're going to do a part 2.
So, sometimes it's important to sit down. Sometimes it's important to sit down. When you need to reevaluate, when you need to figure out what's going on, we are here now. How did I get to this particular point? What are some things that I could have done differently? This is not about blaming. This is not about saying this person did this person. No. How did we get here? Because here's the other thing. It's easy to get really, lack of a better word, selfish when it comes to a relationship, especially a relationship that you feel did not go well, and you feel it didn't go well in your favor, right? So we think about, all right, it's time for me to sit down because I need to figure out how not to do this again. I need to figure out how to not be here again. That's a part of it, yes. But the thing about it is, I know it's hard, but don't forget that you're not in a relationship by yourself. You're in a relationship with somebody else. And I hope the goal is that if something doesn't work out, both parties can be able to go their way better, or at least the same, after it's over. Better or the same. You don't want either party to be worse than they were after you finish whatever relationship. After you finish dealing with the person, they're worse. You don't want that. But again, I know it's hard. People are like, I got to make sure I'm good. Yeah, but make decisions in a way to where after this, whether we are together or whether we are not, that we not be worse than we were before we got together. All right. So, the mental space. Listen, that's man, crazy. We're going to go through a little bit more of these episodes as we continue, because I got a lot of people, I don't have a lot of people, but Sid was talking to me. A lot of the comments are like, yo, you've said this guy's name several times. Who is this person? So again, I'm the person, and I'm gonna go through, a little bit, and then continue to talk mindset, mentality, all those, types of things. So yeah, you can also check out the podcast, The Mental Space, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, because I go into a little bit of this plus extra information again that's related to mindset and mentality. So I appreciate you for watching. Check out My Cup is Full. Check out the podcast, My Cup is Full. Sydney Castillo does a great job of, putting it together and producing it. It's a dope podcast. So, check it out. And then after you check out that one, check out this one, like and subscribe, and then check out The Mental Space on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, all of that. All right. My name is Chris Randall. Until next time, peace.